Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel after a couple of weeks break. I want to thank all of you who have subscribed and given my video a like or a positive comment. I want to thank you for supporting me as you do. I have gotten my share of hate comments, not unexpectedly. However, I imagine that either this video or one of the next two that I'm about to make are probably going to take the cake for hate comments because of the intensity with some of the people really try to defend their position with regard to the subject matter. And of course, if you read the title, we're going to talk about whether or not the Bible teaches that the earth is flat. Here in 2024, the flat earth is a thing that we're debating now. I have absolutely no idea why. Well, I mean, I do have some ideas why. We'll get into that later. But I was in a Christian denomination. I spent 2.5 decades in a Christian group that believed some really ridiculous and scientifically invalid things, like that the earth is 6,000 years old, that it was created in 6 days, that every human is descended from Adam and Eve, that the earth stood still in the sky for a day, all of that. But the idea that the earth was flat was never, ever a part of the doctrine that I was taught. It never came up. And I mean, I think it's pretty obvious why, and it's because it's patently clear, as has been since the dawn of human history, that the earth is not flat, that the earth is a sphere. But does the Bible teach that the earth is flat? Well, the quick answer is no, it does not. Now, I do want to give a disclaimer. The Bible doesn't teach that the earth is a sphere or a globe either. It's basically silent on the subject. The Bible is not and was never intended to be a science textbook. And its claims about, the young earth creation and all that. I mean, obviously there are some Christians that take that seriously, like I did for 2.5 decades, but the idea that the earth is flat, I mean, Christians have believed it over the centuries, but it's only recently come back in the past 10 or so years, and we'll get into why in a bit. But anyway, does the Bible teach that the earth is flat? Well, no, it doesn't, and here's why. When you interpret the Bible, and the science of interpreting scripture is called hermeneutics. That's kind of a big word for people who, if you're like me, you enjoy words. There's a big word for you, hermeneutics. Hermeneutics involves a lot of things besides just reading the words on the page and making a decision from there. You have to consider the language differences between the language of the original author and the language you're speaking now. You have to consider the cultural context. You have to consider the historical context, the geographical context, all sorts of other things. But one thing you have to consider in hermeneutics is whether or not what's being said is a figure of speech. And there are all sorts of figures of speech used throughout the Bible. Just like we use figures of speech in English, the writers of the Bible in Hebrew and Aramaic and Greek also used figures of speech. And I have a couple examples for you. One is Psalm 17, verse 8, where the writer says, "Hide me in the shadow of your wings." No Christian believes that God is a bird. No Christian has ever believed that God is a bird. It's never been a part of any Christian dogma that God is a bird. For 2,000 years, all of Christendom has just accepted that that's a figure of speech. Are there other figures of speech in the Bible? Absolutely. In Psalm 53, it says, "The fool says in his heart, there is no God." Now, medicine in that time was crude and based on superstition, but nevertheless, the writers would have known that the human heart is incapable of speech. Heart's not going to yeet itself out of a body and start talking. It's a figure of speech. In Ecclesiastes, I think, it says, "Beer is a brawler and wine is a mocker." A jug of beer has never once thrown down fisticuffs with somebody. We've all accepted that it's a figure of speech. So there's a line that's drawn in Scripture, and on one side of the line, Christendom has accepted that this isn't to be taken literally. And on the other side of the line, Christendom has accepted or at least various Christians believe that what's said is to be taken literally. And that's where the young earth creationism controversy comes in, because so many Christians, myself included for 25 years, believed that the creation story as presented in Genesis is literal truth, whereas other Christians have not taken that view. But nevertheless, for 2,000 some odd years, all of Christendom accepted that the earth was a globe. It was never a part of Catholic Church dogma, and I know not all Christians are Catholics, but let's not kid ourselves. For 2,000 years, more or less, well, 1,500 anyway, up until the Protestant Reformation, Catholicism dominated Western thought and Western science, and the Catholic Church persecuted, I think it was Galileo, for claiming that the earth wasn't the center of the universe and that the celestial bodies didn't rotate around the earth or revolve around the earth, but rather the earth and the planets revolved around the sun. The church persecuted Galileo for that. I think it was Galileo, I could be wrong, correct me in the comments. But the church never held that the earth is flat. And if you're from the older generation like me, you may have been taught in elementary school that Columbus was warned not to try to find a western route to the west or to India because the earth was flat and he'd fall right off. That's not true. There was opposition to Columbus's voyage based on the fact that he might have possibly underestimated how long it would take him to get to India, but no one thought he was going to fall off the edge of the earth. It's just not true. No one in Christianity in that time thought that the earth was flat. It was just never a part of Christian dogma. It's always been understood that these verses in the Bible that speak of the four corners of the earth or the ends of the earth or the pillars of the earth, they're all just figures of speech. So how did we get to the flat earth now? Well, I'm not going to claim that at no point in 2,000 years of Christian history were there any Christians that believed that the earth was flat. I'm sure there were some. But the flat earth movement as we know it today kind of got going in 1831 when, I wrote his name down here, Samuel Rowbotham published his famous treatises on the earth being a stationary plane rather than not a globe. I've done a cursory Googling about Rowbotham, and I'm disinclined to believe that he was a Christian at all. There's nothing that I've read about him that seems to indicate that he was a Christian, or at the very least that his flat earth beliefs were informed by the Bible. And I also think that a lot of modern flat earth apologists get there not from the Bible, but from, they're just anti-science, if what I see with my own eyes is what's real belief system. I don't know that the Bible informs a lot of modern flat earth beliefs. Now, I could be absolutely wrong. I could be completely wrong about this. I know that there are some flat earth apologists who do argue from the Bible, but the flat earth movement as you see it today, I think largely stems from this distrust of science more broadly rather than the Bible specifically. So the flat earth concept is unfortunately, it's a thing and it's here to stay and we're not going to get rid of it, but don't blame the Bible for it. So anyway, like I said, I anticipate that this video will get a lot of hate comments. That's fine. Hate comments feed the algorithm. Give this video a like and subscribe if you like what I've been talking about, if you want to support me further. If this video doesn't get all the hate comments, one of my next two will, because I'm really getting into some big Christian controversies in my next two videos too. But anyway, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for giving me your time, and I look forward to talking with you again soon. Thank you.